First of all, welcome everyone to our Kwame mindset, not motivation. Mindset, like it's not the same thing, buddy. If you've been following our calls for a while, motivation is important. I like to do that sometimes. But Kwame is taking it in another direction too, and it's mindset because mindset is something that you can keep on putting fuel to it. Motivation is something that dies off. Even, you can't just keep on putting fuel to it. It's the mindset that keeps the fuel going. So today he's going to have another important training. We'll follow him. One thing's for sure, a couple of big announcements. First of all, listen, congratulations to everybody on today's call. You know what date it is? It's like August 4th. August 4th. People are on vacation, Kwame. People
On a beach.
yeah, I mean, on the beach, on vacation. Some people they have jobs. Not everybody is as fortunate as some of us that don't work and we do this full time. Some people have jobs and they're on vacations. That's when, like here in Canada, they got 2 weeks vacations at the end of July. So a lot of people on vacation, a lot of people left and right. So to still have 50 people on the call, congratulations, everyone. I didn't expect it to be full house. It's really right, summer season, like the biggest summer season of the year for all of us. So, but a lot of great things around the corner. Now, I don't know if you're all following there. We are going to a Canada tour. So take these notes down, everyone. We are going to be doing, here, I put it in the chat there earlier, but here, let me just go get it one more time for Kwame. So I'll just put it in the chat. We are going to be August 22, Saturday, this month, August 22, we are going to be in Toronto. Toronto, August 22. We're going to be in Winnipeg, August 24. We are going to be in Calgary, August 27. We are going to be in Vancouver, August 29. Write this down on a paper, everyone. Like you need to nail this down because what I would tell you is this. First of all, I put it all in the chat. But you know what? I don't think I have to put it in the chat. You're all part of our communities there. I'll post it in the groups there, right? So Toronto, there's registration links. What I'll do here, I'll just copy two at a time. I'll put Toronto and Winnipeg first because I couldn't put more than that. So Toronto and Winnipeg, I just put it in the chat, everyone, if you want to copy and save it in case you're not in our groups. We also have Calgary and Vancouver. There's registration links. You need to register. This is going to be a Canadian tour, first ever Canadian tour. Do you know anybody there? Well, I don't know anybody. Well, how do you know if you don't know anybody? Go to your Facebook profile and put something like, hey, do I have any Facebook friends who live in Winnipeg, Calgary, Vancouver, or Toronto? You might see surprised. Somebody might pop up out of the blue and say, yeah, I live here. Well, then you know what you do? You message him on the phone and you tell him how excited you are about Holy Life and why he needs to get his butt there. All right? Why he needs to get his butt there, because it'll make him healthier and it'll also enrich all his family if he does it right. Now, so Canadian tour. We're also getting ready for Thailand for the people on the Frequency Awakening. My team here, most of you are on it. We have a tour that's from the 10th to the 14th of October. Already we have 40 places already taken, almost 50. I only have 150 places. So if you're coming with me, and you're on the Frequency Awakening, you want to come on that tour, you better get back to me and get signed up. Yes, you have to qualify for a couple of things there. And finally, there's ODC in September, buddy. ODC, that's when they launch the new products.
Product drops, baby.
Now, I want to convert something here because a lot of people are freaking out. Oh, they're taking away the Galaxy G1 glasses at the end of September. Listen, everyone, don't freak out. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen because they don't tell us. But you know what I do? I look at the glass half full. Now, you can look at it half empty and freak out. Oh, yeah, that was a bestseller. Or this person called me and said, hey, Kwame, hey, Luigi, I bought them last week. Well, it's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, but what happens if they come out with a Galaxy G1 2? Why would they do that? Well, I said, I know why they would do that. Why would they do that? Because maybe the Galaxy G2 will be connected to the Oli watch because you know that Oli Life is doing artificial intelligence, right, with the Oli watch. And the Oli watch is going to be even better, the second version, all right? And just, yes, so John, I know you're on the call. The Oli watch, the one that we have now is good, but they're coming out with an Oli watch, second generation, that's going to be even high, more level. And all of the new products are connected to the watch. So it started with the shaken massager, everyone. The Galaxy G1 was before that, just like the P90 was before that. Starting with the shaken massager and everything coming after is all going to be connected. So could it be, Kwame, that maybe they took it off because they're coming out with a Galaxy 2 that's connected to the iWatch? I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a hypothesis. I mean,
upgrade.
It's like an upgrade, right?
It's an upgrade. Like the P90 to the P90 Plus, baby. It's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade, right? So don't freak out. Yeah, but then don't freak out, everyone. They know what they're doing, okay? So now, what's the other thing? Oh, yeah, but look at that, the bum air. They're taking the bum. Hey, listen, everyone. The only reason why we got rid of so many bomb airs is because we gave them away. Because before that, nobody was buying them. I can tell you with my numbers. Not because it's not a great product, Kwame, but the sales of the Bomber Air were almost zero, all right? So maybe they decided that let's just get rid of it. They had a warehouse sleep in there. So, and yeah, we got rid of it. Now, if you're waiting for your Bomber Airs, you better be patient, because last time we got a giveaway of Bomber Airs, they didn't arrive at the same time as our product. They arrived like 2 months after. So yes, like just get ready for it, all right? Don't freak out for that. It's yours. They'll come, because every time they promise something to us, they always come, all right? It's just that it's a gift, all right? So have a little bit of patience for that. So listen, yeah. And hey, you know what? Let's say they come out with the Galaxy 2, buddy. Let's just say. What are you going to do with the one? I know. Listen. Look at the glass half full. You keep the one to go on trips with on the airplane, you know, when you're traveling with it, and the other ones you keep them at home. No,
that's it, man.
Nothing wrong with that, eh?
It still works. It still works, man. Yeah.
Away,
Look. Yeah, man. Glad to be with y'all for another Mindset Tuesday. A lot of exciting things happening in Oli life, man. Listen, guys, I've got probably 3 or 4 P90s, 3 P90 pluses. I'm not getting rid of none of my stuff because it still works, right? It's nothing wrong with it. I still got an iPhone 15 Pro. They're coming out with the 18. It works fine.
Well, that's it. So it's like the iPhone 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe they're going to do the Galaxy 1, 2, 3. Who knows? Like, I mean, this is listen, I have 3 P90s. I have one right here in front of you while I'm sitting down at my desk. I have another one in front of the TV in my house, so when I'm doing the TV. And then I have another one in my studio downstairs where I have my little office there, meditation center there. So I have 3 P90s. So this way I don't have to drag it around. I'm actually going to have to buy another one and put it in a suitcase for when I travel, because every time I travel and I don't bring my P90, I can tell you something. I feel it after 4 or 5 days. Feel less energy. Really?
I started taking mines with me, man. I don't take the P90 Plus. I take the P90 with me because it fits the footprint of it is a little bit smaller, so it fits really well in my travel bag. So me and Calais, we just came back from Mexico, had the P90 there with us on our feet twice a day. I mean, it's fantastic. So anyway, man, this is what tech companies do. Wellness tech companies are going to constantly evolve, and that's better for us. So new products coming out, new releases coming out. I'm excited about ODC, but let's hop into it, man. Tonight we're going to continue on in this series about mindset, man. Motivation is great. It's like I said before, it's what gets us started, but it does not keep us going, right? And so what we want to do is continue to build you guys up, build that muscle, start using your mindset to begin to manifest the different things that you want into your life. So tonight's teaching is called the second voice, because we always got 2 voices going on in our head, sometimes simultaneously. So I'm gonna break that down. It ain't gonna be long, just got a few slides. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we're gonna hop into it. Let's see here. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Let me blow this up a little bit. There we are. Let me get this out of the way. All right, yeah. So what we're talking about tonight is the second voice. Typically, we have a couple voices going on our head. One that's just pushing us toward our dream or our goal, and another one that's pulling us away from it. because that second voice likes to keep us in our comfort zone, and it's designed to keep us safe, right? And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna dive into this teaching tonight. I got about 6 or 7 slides. We'll open it up for comments, questions, whatever. Luigi will come in and add a few things to it. So let's dig into it. All right, let's do it. Before I even say anything else, I want you to do something for me, right? I want you to just think of one thing that you already know you need to do. Just one. All I need is one. I just want you to bring that top of mind. Just think of one thing that you already know that you need to do, and you've known that you needed to do it for a while now, right? It's something that nobody has to explain to you. It's just sitting right there. All right, you got it? You got it? Hold on to that, because we're going to come back to it. Now, here's what I've watched for years. I watched it in myself, and I watched it in a whole lot of people that I've coached and even pastored. Most of us typically don't get stuck because we don't know where we want to go, right? It happens simply because there's a moment of decision. It's about 90 seconds. It's a moment of decision where the answer is strictly obvious to us, and it's usually about 4 or 5 words, right? Like, get up, make the call, say something, get out of bed, stop eating that. Right? And then it's the second voice that enters the conversation. Now, let me be clear about what I mean by the second voice, because I don't want anybody walking out here, telling their family I talked about hearing voices, right? I'm not talking about anything mystical, y'all. This is just really practical, and I'm not here to discuss any kind of diagnosis with y'all. I'm just talking about that internal back and forth that starts up right after you already know what to do, after you've decided, you know what, this is what I want in my life. Everybody on this Zoom right now has that voice. Some of y'all had it this morning, and it was real loud, right? When you were getting ready to get out of the bed, look at the screen for a second. The first voice, it tells you get up. That's it. That's the whole speech. Get up. And then look at the second one. Look how much more the second one has to say. Oh man, you was up late. You done had a long week. Listen, you're gonna be sharper tomorrow. Forget why you doing it now. It's the weekend. Monday's gonna make more sense to you, right? One morning ain't gonna hurt nothing. Notice something about the length. The voice that knows what to do and is telling you to do is brief. The second voice that negotiates gives you a whole PowerPoint presentation, right? I believe we were built with the ability to just sense when something is out of alignment for us. Some of you would say that's your conscience, that's intuition, your gut, right? So whatever you decide to call it, the feeling. There's a clarity that shows up first, and it doesn't argue with you. It just tells you, yo, let's go. So here's what we're gonna do for the next few minutes. I want you to give I want to give you a name for this thing, because I found out that when people finally have a language for something they've lived their whole lives, they start noticing it in real time. And once you can see it happening, you get a choice that you didn't have before. And it's just a certain level of awareness, right? And so it's what I teach called notice what you're noticing. It's you taking a third person observatory look at your life, right? So what I want to do is give you a couple of tools tonight, and I'm going to keep them brief. All right. I'm going to teach you how to interrupt this voice. But before we can interrupt the voice, we got to understand why it continually works on you in that particular area of your life. And it works because it almost never sounds crazy. It sounds super, super logical. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna start off with mine, right? I like using myself as an example because mine's very well trained. Mine shows up about 5:15 in the morning, right? My Apple Watch goes off, and like I mentioned in a slide before, the voice says, "Get up." And then it's this reasonable, this very reasonable man inside of me that just gets up and he's not lazy. He's the lawyer, right? I've called him the lawyer. And he comes in prepared. And he says some of the same excuses that I read on the previous slide. Hey, look, you were up past midnight. And this is a true statement, because a lot of times I'm up till 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And he breaks it down. You had a full day. Also true. Your body needs rest. You can't operate at peak efficiency unless you get the proper rest. And listen, you've been consistent all week. So, it's not like this is a pattern or something. Then I'm like, man, oh, you got a point. And that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. Here's what's interesting about this voice. It almost never asks you to do something that's obviously super destructive. In most cases, it's not going to come to you and say, hey, just ruin your life. It's not going to say just quit. It says, not today. Or you've earned this. But why don't you just wait till you feel ready, right? So notice, it doesn't have to lie to you. It uses facts, and it begins to build a case out of things that are genuinely true about your life. So just a show of hands, and be honest with me. How many of you hit the snooze while giving yourself some kind of well-reasoned explanation? Some of y'all don't even need an explanation. Alarm go off, it's just instinct. Boop, you hit that joint for another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, right? Just be honest, right? That's a lot of us. The truth is that none of us is going to hit the snooze while saying, I'm just going to sabotage myself today. We're not going to come out and say that. We hit the snooze with some level of rationale. Why? Because we had a case. The internal lawyer then pled the case. So somebody said to me one time, my excuses are so good, I'd accept them from someone else, right? And that's it. That's the whole thing. The second voice doesn't win because it's clever. It's because it's accurate. So here's the line I want you to take with you after you leave this Zoom. A reason can be completely true and still be pointing you the wrong way. And that's a hard one, because a lot of us have been taught to check whether our reasoning is valid. And validity is not the test, y'all. You can have a valid reason for skipping the call, skipping the workout, skipping the conversation with your spouse or with the person that you said you were going to call back, and still be walking away from the life that you said you wanted. Why? Because we're negotiating with ourselves. The U.S. government has a thing like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Sometimes those thoughts, those random rogue thoughts in our mind are terrorists that are trying to pull us away from the life that we really say we want. Here's the other thing. The second voice also knows your history. It knows our history. It knows exactly which excuse we've accepted before, because it's been keeping notes. It's been keeping notes on us our whole life, right? It's not going to try something new on you. In my favorite book, it says there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just been nuanced, right? That second voice is gonna hand you the one excuse that worked last time. Why? Because we're creatures of habit. And one more thing about it. The second voice is always polite. It's not demanding. It just puts in a little wee request, right? It asks for a little more time. It suggests that why don't we just table this until we have some more information? That's how it stays in the room, right? Now, if this only cost us one more morning, it wouldn't be up here talking about it. It's what it does over the years that I want you to see, right? Because it stacks, it accumulates. Those habits that don't serve us continue to accumulate all throughout our lives. Okay, so here's the linchpin of it all. This is a part that took me personally the longest to understand, right? We treat these small negotiations like they're isolated. One skip morning or one call I didn't make, one conversation that I put off, in isolation, none of it matters a whole bunch. But the fact is they're not isolated. They're all depositing something. Think about how you decide whether to trust another person, right? You don't trust people because they're enthusiastic. You trust people because they did what they said that they were going to do. They kept their word, like Luigi was talking about earlier, right? Every time Holy Life has promised that they were going to do something, they came through and they did it. It might be delayed sometimes, but they've always did it, right? No matter what it is, when you're trusting somebody, it's because they kept their word about it. They kept their word when things were inconvenient, and then they had the opportunity to back out. They kept their word when nobody else was looking. Now apply that same standard to the relationship you have with yourself, right? This is where it's really going to hit home. Every time you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't, you're teaching yourself something about your own word. And here's the truth: you can't get away from that person. You go to bed with that person, you wake up with that person, you drive to work with them, you go to the grocery store with them. You can't just ghost yourself, right? So let me ask you something. If you had a friend who called you every single Sunday night and said, "Listen, man, this week is gonna be different," and then Wednesday came around and nothing changed, and this was going on for years and years. Let's call it 2 years. Would you still get excited when they told you their plans, right? Or would you just start like nodding politely? And in the back of your mind, you're like, "This dude ain't gonna do nothing. He's been on the same thing for 2 years. He talk a good game. Stop talking about it. Be about it." Right? That's what a lot of us are doing to ourselves. We nod politely at our own goals, man. And somewhere along the way, we quietly stop believing us. And that's the key to why we continue to repeat the same thing, because we get the same dopamine hit from actually doing the thing versus talking about the thing. Let that land for a minute. All right. So let's get to the useful part. I talked about this in previous trainings, and some of this might seem redundant to you. It may seem like, man, this is just regurgitated, but there's a reason you're hearing it again. Because sometimes we got to hear things over and over again in order to really get it, right? So let's take confidence, because a lot of times we don't make a move because we don't feel confident. We don't think that people are going to listen to us. We don't think we have something valuable to offer or something valuable to say. So we'll sit around and we'll tell ourselves, well, I'm going to act on this once I feel a little bit more confident. Let me just study the comp plan a little bit more, right? And what tends to happen is that we wait a long time because it's backwards. You don't act because you feel confident. You get confident because you acted on a day that you didn't feel like acting. That's what gives you your confidence, right? You're not courageous because you're not afraid. You're courageous because in the face of fear, you do it anyway. Right? So confidence, like it says on the screen, isn't some feeling that you find. It's a receipt that you collect every time you do the thing that you say that you're going to do. You get a receipt. It's a small one. Maybe nobody's going to clap for you, but it goes in a file in your subconscious. Your subconscious is keeping score, it's keeping track. And after a while, you're not psyching yourself up anymore because now you've got evidence. You can look at your own history, your track record, and say, "Man, I know what to do," because you've built that up. You've built that muscle up. You began doing the thing, and we usually have this tendency to think of integrity as keeping our word to other people, and that's just a part of it. The other part is integrity also means that your word to yourself is worth something. Your word to yourself is worth something. Look, we break our necks for everybody else. Why don't we do it for our own self? Right? And, you know, in a nutshell, that's the real cost of the second voice. It doesn't just steal a morning away from you by hitting the snooze bar. It takes your ability over time to believe in yourself. So, that being said, the question becomes a lot more practical. In the moment that this is happening, how do you know which voice you're listening to? Right? Because it can be confusing. I mean, if you're sick, you don't necessarily want to get out of bed, right? How do you gauge that? So here's what I've learned. Because I don't want to leave you inspired and just useless. That's the worst combination that there is. So let's take a dive on it. When a second voice starts up, you need something that's going to interrupt it. So there's 3 questions that I typically will ask, and it takes about 10 seconds, right? It takes about a couple seconds. Take a screenshot of this on your screen. Just take a screenshot. Question 1, what did I already decide? The question isn't what you want to do right now, because if it boils down to that and you're going off of your feelings, chances are you're not going to do it. It's what did I decide? Because you made that decision at a moment when you were clear-headed. You had a certain level of clarity. You weren't tired and fatigued or stressed out. You had the proper perspective. The version of you standing in the kitchen at 9:40 at night does not have perspective, right? That version has feelings and access to snacks, right? Which reminds me, anybody ever stand in front of an open refrigerator for like 4 minutes? The cold air pouring all out on you. You're not hungry. You just wait for the refrigerator to come back with a better offer. Sometimes it does. Sometimes the leftover pie speaks up, right? So again, asking yourself that question, what did I already decide? When you're in those moments of decisions at 9:40 at night in your kitchen with the refrigerator open, and you know you want to stick to this new lifestyle of eating, you're going to deny the pie, right? All right, question 2. Who am I becoming if I keep choosing this? Who am I becoming if I keep choosing this? This one changes the size of your decision, because by itself, you know, one skip follow-up is nothing, right? It's not a big deal, but you're never deciding about one. You're deciding about the pattern it belongs to. So don't ask yourself, does this really matter? Ask, if I do this every single time, where does that put me in 3 years? Those are the kind of questions that you ask yourself, because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask, right? Question number 3, is this clarity talking, or is this comfort negotiating? And you can usually tell by length, like I mentioned before. Clarity's short. It's not negotiating with you. It's short. It gives you the directions, and that's it, right? It gives you that answer, and then it stops. Comfort, again, builds a case. It's that lawyer in you, right? If you notice yourself building a whole argument about why not to do something, that's your tell. And in that moment, it's not decision, it's negotiation. So let's put these in real situations, because they show up everywhere. Let's look at, I want to give you, maybe 3 or 4 different areas where they show up. Let's talk about health, right? Because we're in a wellness company, and just as an aside, this is free. These products, these devices, these wellness devices, as great as they are, they're not miracles, right? Everybody got hyped up about the shaking massage. I'm about to lose this bear belly. I'm going to get rid of this fupa. And so we use it 2-3 times a day, but we still eating Oreos, right? We still cramming ice cream down our mouth and eating fried chicken at times we shouldn't be eating it. We're eating foods laden with saturated fat. We're not drinking enough water. We're not going out to exercise. Listen, these devices are supplemental to a life of wellness. So your decision to be well encompasses more than just putting your feet on the P90 or the P90 Plus or putting on the G1 goggles, right? It's more than that. Those are supplemental. It's a lifestyle change that we got to make, and it requires a bigger decision. So when we look in terms of health, we know that, you know, we should stop at a certain point, stop eating at a certain point. But the second voice kicks in and is like, man, you had a hard week. Or here's a better one. Man, this is a special occasion, man. This is a backyard barbecue. This is the family reunion. Oh man, it's a celebration. We gotta, right? Let's get to it. It'll be right about both. So let's look at our business. You got a follow up that you've been carrying for 10, 11 days. The second voice is going to tell you now isn't a great time to reach out. They're probably busy, which is probably true. And it's still going to cost you the deal, right? Family. Family's another important one. We're about family in Holy Life. You need to apologize to somebody. The second voice says, wait till things cool down. It says it every single night for 6 weeks. So you never get around to apologizing when you could have nipped it in the bud. And lastly, this is big because we all are in business to what? Make money. I know somebody like, well, I just want to change lives. I just want to listen. That paycheck will change lives, starting with your own. With the more money you have, the more generous you could be to the people that you want to help, right? So with money, you know, you said you're going to move a little bit into savings. You're going to change how you're spending. You're going to work on that budget. You're going to finally start investing. You're going to stop the impulse buying and things like that. And then the second voice says, start next month when things really settle down. Here's the thing. Things never settle. That's what a month is. Things never settle. So run the 3. What did I already decide? What am I becoming? Is this clarity or is this comfort? Say them out loud sometimes, because that inner voice that's silent, sometimes you got to speak to it. You hear me say that on a lot of calls. You got to speak to that audibly sometimes. Just say it out loud. We laugh out loud. We LOL and say it out loud, right? It may sound strange, but listen, let me tell you something. It works. Because when you hear yourself speaking certain things, your subconscious picks it up. You know, something about saying it out loud kind of ends the debate, right? Because it's not a private conversation anymore. You've exposed it. All right, let's move to the next slide. Now, there's one thing that's going to shut this down faster than any question that I know. And here's the deal. You can't think your way out of this. Here's why. Because thinking is the arena. That's where the second voice lives. You will never out-argue it because both attorneys are you. And one of them really wants the daggone pie. Why do I keep talking about pie? Well, because I got some downstairs and I'm fighting a battle right now. Right? The thing that ends is the movement. Watch how this works. The second you stand up for yourself and you begin to speak, the argument loses its grip. The second that you put your shoes on, the debate about whether to walk gets a lot quieter for you. The second that you send that text message, right? The second that you open up the document, you know, that you're not in the mood to write, it stops being an interesting topic. So what I'm saying is the moment that you take action is what shuts it down, even louder than speaking it. You just getting up and getting after it speaks volumes, right? You can't hold a real negotiation while you're already doing a thing. So here's the mechanic. 5 minutes. There's nothing super magical about 5 minutes. 5 minutes doesn't change your life, right? All 5 minutes does, it ends the conversation. So put on the shoes, send a text message, watch the video, make the call, drink the water, you know, write one sentence. Those of you that are aspiring authors, record the video. That's it. Just get moving and let the second voice keep talking to an empty room because you've left. But I'll tell you what usually happens. Most of the time, you don't stop at 5. But even when you do stop at 5, you've won. You didn't get talked out of it. And that's huge. And that's the thing that you're actually building. You're getting that muscle going. You're getting those reps in. And here's why waiting can be so expensive. Every minute that you sit there and don't take action, the second voice gets another turn at the microphone. And believe me, baby, it's patient, super articulate and everything. It's been studying you for decades. Give it 20 more minutes and it'll build a case so strong and so good, you thank it on the way out. Well, I appreciate you, man. Seriously. It's happened in our lives. Later is one of the most expensive words in the English language. Y'all should write that down. For real. It's one of the most expensive words in the English language, the word later. And here's the reason is because later isn't saying no. It's not saying no. It's a compromise word. And it never really feels like you've made a decision, right, against what you want to do. So you've never really said no to the thing. You just kept it in committee until the window closed, right? That procrastination. Now, I want to be real careful here because we're people of extremes, and I know somebody's going to take this and run with it too far, right? So here's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to be impulsive. This isn't the act on every single idea that crosses your mind at 11 at night show. It's not that. There's a difference between deciding fast and moving fast on something that you've already decided, right? So take your time deciding, think it through, pray about it. If that's what you need to do, get some counsel, call up one of your friends and and talk to them, people in your circle that are positive, right? But once you make the decision, quit reopening the case. It's time to move. You don't got to think about it anymore. And a lot of us have that backwards. We decide in 4 seconds and then negotiate for 3 weeks, right? So let's make this something that you can actually do tonight. Because I want to keep this real small on purpose for you. So I always give you a little homework assignment. So go ahead and get your screenshot out. Here's your assignment. Just one promise. One promise. I I I I already know some of my left brain people. Y'all done started making a list. All the things you're gonna do because you want to change. Put the pen down, right? Because I see you're about to commit to waking up at 5, drinking a gallon of water, reading 40 pages a day. I'm cold plunging. You're gonna call your mom every day, and by Thursday, you'll be lying to all 5 of them things you just said you're gonna do. That's not discipline, y'all. That's a hostage situation. So what we're gonna do is just one promise. Let's keep it light. Right? We're gonna ease into this thing. And here's the standard that I want you to use. Just keep it small enough that you could keep it even on a hard day. You could keep your word to yourself even on a hard day. Not your best day, right? Just on a hard day, because we're gonna have some of those. Because your best days are easy. Your best days were never the problem. It's the hard days, right? And here's what a lot of people can tend to miss about this. The promise that you make isn't the point of you doing this. It's the proof. Like what I talked about earlier, the proof is the point. You don't want to, you're not working on overhauling your whole life this month. You're just rebuilding trust with yourself, especially if you've been lying to yourself for a long time. I've done that. Believe me, I've done it, right? So this exercise is all about rebuilding trust with yourself. And that is going to get built with the small, boring, repeatable evidence. There's magnificence in the mundane, y'all. So make it small and make it specific. whether that's 15 minutes of walking after dinner, or whatnot. You don't got to be an hour or race walk. You don't got to do 30 minutes, whether it's you just read one page before bed, just one, one follow-up before you touch, anything else in the morning, man, right? Or the simplest one on board right now, don't hit the snooze button. That's the whole promise. And just being specific matters, because when you have vague promises, that's bait for the voice. All exercise is not a promise. That's a mood, right? There's really nothing there to keep. So there's nothing to negotiate about. So nothing happens. I'm just going to exercise. So you want to be specific about what you're going to do, and timestamp it. Now, here's the principle that's underneath that whole thing. It's about consistency. That's the reason a lot of us haven't made it to where we want to go, is because we've been inconsistent, because we've negotiated, right? And like I said on the slide, consistency is going to beat intensity every time, right? Intensity feels incredible. It's loud, it's exciting, it'll last for a few days. Whereas consistency is super, super quiet. It's unassuming. It's boring, and yet it rearranges your entire life. Nobody's making a video about walking 15 minutes after dinner. At least I ain't seen none. But 2 years of that turns you into a different person. And what's more important is it turns you into a person who believes what they tell themselves. That's what this is about. All right, now one more thing. And this might be probably the most useful sentence I say today. You decide. You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss. And because stuff happens, life be lifing, right? And when you miss, don't renegotiate the promise. Just keep it the next day. That's it. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep it the next day. The people who make it aren't the ones who never miss, y'all. They're the ones who refuse to miss twice. or one miss can be a bad day. Two is a beginning of a story you'll tell yourself about who you are, right? So again, it's about consistency. So take a second right now and pick your one thing and just write it on something. If you got your phone out, just type it in there or write it down, and I'm gonna just give you about like 10, 15 seconds just to think about that one thing and write it down. If you want to get bold, you could throw it in the chat even, right? If you feel comfortable with that, that's optional. But watch what saying it out loud does to you. It's a different level of commitment. All right, let's bring the plane in for a landing, y'all. I'm a close with the question that all of this really comes down to right now. All right, last slide. I want to just be transparent with you about something before we finish. The voice doesn't go away. That's not the aim here. Our paradigms never go away. We just learn how to deal with them better, right? I've been working on this for years, and mine still will show up at 5:15 with a fresh set of arguments, right? The people that you look up to, the ones who seem to really have gotten it handled, they hear it too, right? They're not people with fewer excuses available to them. They got the same excuses you got. What's changed for them is smaller than what you'd think. They just stop treating the voice as like it's an authority or something. It still speaks to them. They ain't gonna give it the gavel though. Think about how it operates. It asks for meetings. It reopens decisions that you've already settled. It shows up with new evidence on something that you closed the door on 6 months ago. It's going to request a delay, and it's going to be respectful about it. And it always sounds like it's on your side. So in closing, listen, y'all, you don't have to win every single one of those arguments. That's the part I really want you to hear. You're not going to debate it though, and you don't need to. Just stop taking the meeting with it and take action. Remember, at the very beginning, I asked you to think of one thing you already know that you needed to do. That thing has been waiting on you, right? It's been waiting on you. And, you know, I bet almost nothing about it has changed except how long you've been carrying it around. You already know. You've known for a while. And that's never been the problem. Somewhere out ahead of you, there's a version of your life that you'd be glad to be living. And that version isn't waiting on some more information or the next course or the next Tuesday mindset or the next, team call, or is not waiting on some better season or the moment that you finally feel ready. It's waiting on which voice you let finish the sentence. The second voice can speak all it wants to, but it's not going to get to vote. It may show up for you tonight. Let it talk. Just don't give it the last word, y'all. All right? So get your one thing and let's get after it. Luigi.
Yeah, listen, first of all, I love one statement there. I think we have, Asher, are you still on? I'd like to have a couple of comments here from a couple of speakers on your call tonight there. So, Asher, if you're on, please open up your camera. Also, John Savola, you can open up your camera and your microphone. Just have some comments on today's training. First of all, my take on it. Asher, if you're not there, if you're not opening up your camera, I can have another volunteer who wants to come on. So first person who raises their hand will be brought on as a panelist here to come share some thoughts on tonight's training. Do I have a volunteer in the chat? Raise your hand, please. All right. While somebody's raising their hand, first thing I'd like, there it is, Rosanna. Okay, let's do it. Rosanna, done. All right. So now we have 4 people. So first of all, I love one analogy that you brought here today. It's funny because it's true. If you just walk 15 minutes, nobody's going to make a movie of it, right? And nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to talk about it. But if you walk 15 minutes every day, in 2-3 years, the compound effect from that, you're going to be a lot healthier than when you started.
Yeah.
All right?
Totally, man.
And it's the same thing in everything that we're doing here with Oli. Same thing. So great training, buddy. Like usual there. You always bring some great value to us. So thank you very much.
For sure. I mean, it boils down to consistency, man. Consistency. I seen you do it, Luigi. I mean, you didn't get to M5 overnight.
No, that's for right? Sure. Sometimes they look at people that reach a certain rank or a certain level of success, but you need to remember something. First of all, this is not a race. Number one. Number two, there's no auto ship, right? There's no yearly renewal. So it's not like, well, if I don't pay my auto ship in 3 weeks from now, they're going to kick me out of the comp. Like here, there's no stress. Your upline is not stressing you. You're part of this community. Now, then it depends. Some people are going to run slower, some medium. Some might only start running in 3, 4, 5, 6 months after. And that's okay too. And some people run harder. But sometimes when you see somebody that does succeed a little bit faster than you, don't prejudge that, meaning that it's sometimes, well, he's lucky. No, maybe he's not lucky. Maybe he's been through a lot of heartaches, a lot of deceptions, a lot of personal development. He's been around. There's a reason why some things happen. But don't compare yourself to anybody. It's your journey. I'm serious. It's your journey. Like, you want to get to the top of the mountain? I'll tell you one thing. If I start at the bottom of the mountain with Kwame, he's going to get to the top of the mountain before me. I'll tell you right away, because he's more in shape than me. I know, because I tried pull-ups with him once. He beat me like flying colors. But one thing I can tell you, Kwame, I don't care if you get there before me. I'm going to get there too.
Come on, man. That's the thing.
You understand?
Yeah. Okay. Look, and the turtle catches up with the rabbit eventually.
Yes, John. What's your thoughts on tonight's training?
Wonderful, Kwame. I'm really glad I came on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only problem is that I have 3 voices. I have the voice of what I know.
Yeah.
I have the voice of the lawyer, And then I have Luigi's voice.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so I'm saying to myself, what do I need to do at this moment? And I know what I need to do, which is follow up on people to build my business.
Yeah.
And then there's negotiator going, well, this person, they wouldn't be interested in all that stuff. Now Luigi's going, make the call, John, make the call. A couple of days ago, why I bring this up is a couple of days ago, I signed up I sponsored a woman who's a seven-figure income earner from a different network marketing company. And I've known her for years, but I prejudged her. All right.
Mm.
And she heard about Holy Life. She found me on social media and she goes, John, I'm very interested in Holy Life. Why haven't you called me?
Mm.
And I said to this person, I said, well, I prejudged you. And I said, I'm making a list at this moment of 6 people I'm calling as soon as I get off the phone with you. And she signed up. She bought all the products and she could be one of my biggest producers. And I hadn't called her. And I made those 6 calls. And 2 of those people are also signing up with me. They're going to be big producers. So I'm going to be listening to that Luigi voice more and talking me out of the lawyer voice. No, it's really because you mentioned prejudging. And that's the thing I got from tonight is I have to stop prejudging people. I need to make the calls. You never know who they know, and so forth and so on. And the other part of that is you got to hang your sign up. She found me on social media, right, and tracked me down. And so if you're not out there, if you don't have your sign up and say, I'm open for business, you're missing out a lot of folks out there that are looking for Holy Life. So, but that's my in front of God and everybody, I'm saying I'm going to be following up from now on. And my wife's in the background going, all right, John, I'm glad to hear this.
So that's almost 4 voices now.
Yeah, I got 4 voices.
I was going to say your wife is another voice. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, John. That's some nuggets, guys. Like, again, this is a perfect example of how making the decision and sticking to it can impact you and change the trajectory of your business and even your life, right? I mean, John's got booster rockets on him now. I bet you he ain't gonna be missing no more calls. he gonna keep that phone. He gonna be smiling and dialing. Good stuff, man.
Well, thank you, John, because at the end, yes, yes, Rosanna, we can see you now. Just open your microphone. So basically, like we're all there for the product. That's okay. But like when you want to, and there's nothing wrong with making money. I think we all agreed on that already there. But I think everything that we're doing as a big community in the frequency there, anyways, I think there's a lot of value to it. All right. Even like the call like tonight, I'm sure that for some people it resonated with them, it touched them. Maybe that's what they needed to hear tonight. So thank you very much, John. Hi, Rosanna. You're going to be closing this.
Hello. I'm so glad my camera came on because I don't know what was going on. So thank you. I just want to say, Kwame, man, I just, love hearing your inspiration. And I don't know how you do it, but it's just awesome. There's always something very special every week. And every week you've been doing it. So I just want to thank you for your contribution. And it's incredible. Just thank you. I sent a message to you last week personally because every week there's just some little golden nugget. And that's why these calls are so important to be on, because there's always something that just pushes us to that just next, because we all feel it, right? We all have those doubts and those voices that you were talking about tonight. But, we're in it together. And like John just said, if we hold ourselves back, then people are not getting this out there. And this is what it's about. It's about, sharing it with others and making a difference. So as we help others, we help ourselves. So we just need to take one by the inch, it's a cinch, they say, and
I like
one
that.
step at a time. So thank you. Thank you for your beautiful energy and what you bring to the community. And also you, John and Luigi and everyone here. Together, we do it together.
Absolutely.
One family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you, John. Thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, everyone who's watching this call. Yes, it's recorded. We'll be posting it right away after. So we'll see each other on the next call. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get ready. Like I said, ODC is around the corner. There's just so much. I don't know if you're going to Thailand. I don't know if you're coming. I just posted even in Holy Nation, the Canadian tour. So if anybody wants to come to one of these 4 cities in Holy Nation, you're invited. The more, the merrier. You know, like there's synergy. You know, like I want the place to be packed. So it's going to have a lot of fun. But there's also a lot of things else. You know, like I think in December there's big event for Holy Nation in Hong Kong. That's where they're actually giving away the condos to some of the winners there. And then after that, we're going to be doing Holy Nation big event in March in Australia, New Zealand. So I don't know what to say except for I can just imagine the rest of the year, the end of the year, with all these new products, the water machine, who knows, maybe the Galaxy 2, you know? Hey, John, doesn't it sound, no, I don't know anything, but I mean, if they're going to take that off, maybe they're coming out with the Galaxy 2, eh? That's plugging with the phone, eh? I don't know, just...
Oh, hey. We might have an Oli phone.
There you go. There you go. So just, you know what? If you're not sure, just buy some extras. Bye, everyone. Have a blessing.
Good night, y'all. See you.
Bye.